Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron.
I'm Michelle.
And I have a dog in my lap that at any moment is going to stand up and is going to freak everyone out. It'll just magically appear, so be ready for that. But this is our post-Geekout reaction for Happy Death Day to You, one of my favorite names for a sequel that I have ever heard. You guys might be saying, hey, you never reviewed the first Happy Death Day. You're right, we didn't. So we just recorded a review for it for Patreon. So if you are signed up at Professor Thorgy on Patreon, then the review for Happy Death Day, I'm forgetting the words to everything I'm going to say, should be coming up in a few hours over there. But yes, this is the sequel to that film, and for anybody who doesn't know what the first one was about, it was a movie about this girl who ends up getting murdered over and over and over again because she's reliving the Groundhog's Day scenario. This is basically Groundhog's Day with a slasher in there. Every time that she is killed, she wakes up on the day that she's going to be murdered all over again.
Which also just happens to be her birthday.
Which, yes, it is her birthday, which is the title, which refers to Happy Death Day to You. I really enjoyed the first film.
Yeah, I did too.
I didn't think it was really a good horror film, but I thought it was a great dark comedy.
Yeah.
And this film, it's weird saying this. It's basically the first film all over again, but that kind of works considering the premise. But they still twisted it just enough to create a whole new layer to this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because the first film, it's Groundhog's Day with a slasher. This is Back to the Future 2 with a slasher.
Yeah.
Because she's not the only one who wakes up on this day now. It picks up right where the last film left off. It's the day after they finally broke the cycle. It's now Thursday the 19th. She's finally living
Tuesday the 19th, because it was Monday the 18th.
Oh, that was Wednesday the 18th.
No.
Oh, okay, whatever.
You get the idea.
It's the 19th. It's the day after. It's the next day. So she wakes up, and now the roommate of the guy she is hooked up with, who he was only in the first film to deliver like 2 lines over and over and over again, is now focusing on him. And it turns out, in the first film, it looked like he was just some dumb slacker. Turns out he's actually a genius. And he's been working with the other geniuses at the school on this project to create something that could change time.
Yeah, like alter time.
It's supposed to slow time down. But they realize, oh, shoot, something yesterday kind of spiked in this. Something went off on this. We don't quite understand why. And then he ends up getting murdered. And then he wakes up the very next day, reliving it. And then he goes in there, is like, guys, something happened to me. I feel like I've lived this day all over again. And she just goes, hold up, were you murdered? Yes. Okay, here's exactly what's going on.
And she basically recaps the first movie.
Oh, yeah, exactly. She sums all of it up, like step by step by step, all right there.
And she's basically saying, it looks like the loop has now passed on to you. The time loop is now on you now.
So he says this might have something to do with our experiment. They realize it is this experiment that loops time that is actually what caused it, which I find it very interesting that we've seen a lot of films that just flat out rip off Groundhog's Day. This is the only one I've ever seen that actually came in here with an explanation for it. And I'm okay with the explanation.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, when I first saw the movie, before I saw the sequel, of course, I thought the reason why she was constantly reliving the same day is because, like,
her mom's birthday was also on that day?
Yes, so I felt like maybe it was her mom giving her another chance.
Something like that, which she even says in here, after she learns, oh, it was this machine that did it. She said, oh, I thought it had something to do with the fact that my mom and I had the same birthday and my mom was dead, and oh, no, I guess it was just science. All right, fine.
But it's like her boyfriend turns to her and is like, that doesn't make it any less interesting.
Yeah, that's the actual line, and that is a great line.
Yeah, it's like
the movie still holds merit. Like,
yeah,
you can still go back and watch that first film, everyone. Don't feel like you wasted your time. Yeah, I actually really dug that. I really dug that. It wasn't like, that doesn't mean that didn't have me and you. It was like, that doesn't mean it wasn't still interesting.
Yeah, like,
turn to audience. I love that.
By the way, I like how it, what was I'm trying to say? I like how, it, brings up issues in the first movie that the audience would have. Like, I remember, like, seeing the first movie, and we were like, what kind of school has a mascot for a baby?
We
like,
had such a problem with that.
Mascot, like...
We forgot to bring that up in the review, but yeah, that is stupid. I let it go because the name of the school is Bayfield, and it's like, all right, what sounds like...
Bayfield baby.
All right. But still, even if your name is Bayfield, it feels like baby would be at like number 9 on your list of top 10 things to pick. Like something that has to do with a bay, like any kind of like seabird or fish or something out there.
Or some animal that begins with the letter B, like a bear.
Yeah, the Bayfield Bears. Yeah, that sounds way better than the Bayfield Babies. That's so, yeah.
Yeah, and they like bring it up in the sequel too. It's like, why is our mascot a baby? That is so stupid. It's like, thank you for saying the things that we were thinking. Like,
it's like, that doesn't always work. There she goes. I told you she was going to pop up.
She has risen.
I am reborn. Yeah, that doesn't always work, where if you acknowledge a problem in your script, then the audience will let it go. But this is one of those times that worked. They brought it up, and I was like, okay, yes, good. Somebody realizes it's dumb. They really put in there that your school mascot is a baby, just so that way you can have the whole birthday thing kind of come back around and tie into the serial killer in here. But they end up screwing with the device a little bit more to try and fix everything. However, the dean of the school, he is sick and tired of this school messing with this. They put so much money into this, and they haven't been able to patent this thing yet.
And like the power would always go out, which is something that happened in the first movie.
That was actually a big plot point in the first film, is that there was a random blackout that occurred. It makes you almost wonder if this was planned.
Yeah, it is, because it's like when I was reviewing the first movie, I said, this wraps up really nicely, but they made a sequel, and the sequel actually does a really good job picking up where the
sequel actually does not just come in here and go, guess what, now she's living the 19th all over again, and someone else is killing her all again. They don't do that. They actually took this concept and thought of a good enough place to take it after that.
Yes, and it's like they picked up where the first movie left off. Is like, oh hey, remember this issue in the first movie? Well, it's been resolved in this movie. So
yeah,
sequels.
I really dig the whole blackout thing, and honestly, I don't think that was planned, because Scott Lobdell wrote the first one. Which still surprises me. Scott Lobdell wrote the first one. The second one was not written by him. He was not connected to this in any way, so it really feels like people who were fans of the first one, and they came up with a really cool idea of where to take it. So awesome. Yeah, they were able to take elements from the first one, actually have them really pay off in this film, and they were able to do something that was different other than just, well, now she has to take on this serial killer all over again. Because what happens is that after the dean comes in and says, you wasted too much money on this, he tries to stop the thing and ends up getting damaged, and the whole thing kind of explodes. And now she wakes up again, and it's the 18th all over again, and she's freaking out all over again. But then suddenly
she notices some things are a bit off.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. She notices little bits of things are different, including the fact that this guy she was going to hook up with is now dating the head of the sorority, like Danielle. Danielle. And in her reality, which, spoiler for what I'm about to say, Danielle is this, like, super uptight, just complete...
Yeah, snotty bitch, like your typical...
I wasn't going to say it, but yes. But in this reality, she does lots of charity work. She's trying to become an actress, even though she kind of sucks at it. She is actually dating the guy she wants to hook up with, so... This is clearly not the same world. And that's when they explain to her, okay, I think you got blasted into a different reality. And that's when they actually stop. And in the first film, one of the best jokes in that entire movie is at the end of it, he goes, you know what this reminds me of? Groundhog's Day. What? You know, the Bill Murray movie? I don't know. What is that? I love that they actually called out that, yeah, we're just ripping off Groundhog's Day. But the person who was living through it had not seen Groundhog's Day and did not know what that was. I thought that was a brilliant joke in there. In this one, right after they reveal this, he goes, you know what this reminds me of? Back to the Future 2. Oh, yeah, it's totally Back to the Future 2. What's Back to the Future 2? You know, Marty McFly, the DeLorean doc? I don't know what any of that nerd stuff is. What is this? I like this running gag that every single one of these movies is going to be a different 80s or early 90s sci-fi comedy with a slasher just thrown in there. And I really kind of know what the third one's going to be. Like, all right.
If there is going to be a third one,
They do hint at, but we don't know if there's going to be no one. But yeah, the first one, all right, Groundhog's Day. Second one, Back to the Future 2. What the heck is the next one going to be? And yeah, when you realize that, this film does feel different. Because it does after that become like she keeps dying over and over again, and because of that she keeps waking up over and over again, but she keeps waking up in this new, different reality.
Yeah, and it's like basically the whole point of it is she needs to wake up in her own reality as opposed to like this new one that she's in.
Except that she starts discovering this might actually be the good reality. She might be from the crappy reality, and she might kind of want to stay in this good reality. And I won't spoil what is different in here, but when you think about what one of her big problems in the first film was, you can kind of already put the pieces together in your head of, oh, that's what's going to be different in this reality. And even though I'm not going to spoil it for you, I will say it then becomes a movie about, do you deal with the stuff that's happened to you in life, or do you live with what you're given and try and make the best out of it? And I thought that they actually kind of delved into that pretty darn well in here.
Like, once again, like, the sequel does a really good job with the emotional parts, just like
that's
the first
what really
one.
made the first one work, is that I liked the characters so much, and the characters actually got pretty emotional in their times. I like these characters even more because we do get even more characters in here, because you do get to actually spend time with the roommate now and his two nerdy friends who are working on this device. Which, that's another thing that I love about this. You keep looking at this because they stop and they tell you early on, this is Back to the Future 2, and you go, okay, I'm seeing all the Back to the Future 2 parallels in here. I couldn't help but look at them and go, it's also a little bit of Revenge of the Nerds. It's also a bit of, like, at the end of this, the nerds have to pull a big heist on the dean, and like, this is Revenge of the Nerds now, but with a slasher thrown in there. And I'm kind of okay with that. I'm okay with you just ripping off 80s comedies and throwing a slasher in there.
Yes, as long as you do it well.
Yes,
it's like,
exactly.
as long as it's well executed, which these movies were.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was really smart of them to come in here and address the fact that it's Back to the Future 2 early on. Because if they hadn't done that, we all would have just gone, you're just doing Groundhog's Day all over again. The fact that they actually acknowledge it early on, as opposed to the last film where they wait until the end to acknowledge it. At that one, they wait until the end to acknowledge it because, yeah, the entire audience knows this is Groundhog's Day. This one, they had to stop us all from going, it's Groundhog's Day all over again, which is an ironic sentence to say. They had to stop us from saying that by coming in here and going, no, this is Back to the Future 2. Oh, I get this now. I see what you're doing in this movie now. And I honestly have to wonder how many actors they got back for this one. Because I honestly wonder if every single one of the people that she sees like every morning when she wakes up.
Oh, yeah.
The same people. Because there are people who they got to be in that movie just to do one thing. Like
over and over.
Yeah, but they still got a meaty role in there. Because they had to do the same thing over and over and over again. In this one, they had to, like, 2 years later go, hey, guy who was on the lawn who fell asleep while standing up, you want to come back and do that one more time all over again? But in all honesty, if they did replace them, would any of us have known? I mean, if they replaced the lady asking about stopping global warming, like, she had a line, I might have known her, but any of the other people in there, they could have done whatever they want. Like, weird hipster guy with the sunglasses who looks at her every single morning. Like, you just put a wig on anybody in there. Like, I do honestly want to know how many of these people they actually got to come back.
And yet, there are some, like, minor characters that actually have a bigger role in the sequel.
Yes! Because since this is an alternate reality now, and things are slightly different, her roommate in the first film, she ended up actually having a big role. I'm not going to reveal what that big role was if you haven't seen the first film yet, but she actually had a big role, but almost no screen time at all in the first film. I kind of did just spoil what her was. There's no other way you can interpret what I just said. But yeah, she actually did serve a purpose in the first film, but she had like zero screen time at all. She has a massive chunk of screen time in this one. And you actually get to see, like, our character now bonding with her roommate, someone you should have seen her bonding with in the first film because they're roommates. But no, like, they have, like, no screen time. In this film, it's kind of like, oh, now I'm kind of getting, like, an actual connection between you two, which makes the first film kind of better, which it really should, considering that this is an alternate reality that is not connected to the stuff in the first film. Yeah, there is actually really touching moments between her and her roommate. I have to repeat something I said about the first film. It is stunning to me how good the acting is in this film. You look at something that's a slasher movie where a guy is running around in a baby mask.
Yeah,
it's like, this is going to be awful. This is going to be stupid. Everybody acts their ass off in this movie. It is so impressive when people are just pouring out those emotions. Especially the main actress. In the first film, she got to really lay the emotions in towards the end of the film. This one, it is early on. It is just off to the races. How emotional she gets in this. So yeah, I really was really pleased with everything that they put into this. I will say, I do have a little bit of a problem in that, again, one of my problems with the first film was that I don't really care about the serial killer thing. I'm more just interested in these fun characters.
Well, honestly, like, the serial killer really didn't have that much of an impact in this one.
They pushed. They were like, we don't even give a crap about that. Like, he is not an element in this movie at all.
No, it's just... Actually, you went up to get snacks during this part, but, like, they basically... Like, the nerve people were like, we can't really... Like, even if we did all the calculations... Your day would reset so you wouldn't remember them. So Tree is like, I guess I'll have to be your human notebook and memorize all these, like, algorithms.
Basically, she has to be the one who... They would have to work for days to figure out the equation to get her back to her home reality. But because they can't work for days on this, she has to learn the equation and then kill herself so that she can then wake up.
Yeah, basically it's like, so I just do these, I just wait for my killer to come get me. It's like, or you could just kill yourself. It's like, yeah, I guess that's a better option. So then there was like this montage of her like going through all these.
That was in the trailer, yeah.
Yes. But like some of them weren't in the trailer and...
I can only assume there were probably some good ones in there that I missed.
There was one where it's like there's a wood chipper and it says like Tree Demolisher on the side because her name is Tree.
Oh.
And she was in her jogging suit and she just ran and just dove right in with her legs kicking and it's like, oh, that's hilarious.
That's good. Oh, man, I missed that.
Yeah.
I always pick the worst times to go and get snacks. But yeah, so
but like eventually, like process of elimination, she remembered all the failed equations. So like they eventually found the good one, the one that works.
Exactly. But of course that then creates the problem that we had in the first one, which is that every time that she dies, she gets a little bit weaker. It does.
Yes, they actually did like mention that while you were gone. Also, like
they mentioned it when I got back too.
Oh yeah. But like when
you don't have to recap the entire scene that was gone. I appreciate it, but it's killing time here. But yeah, as I said, one of my problems with the first one is that I was like, I don't really care about this killer. He's even less of a thing in this one. It really is like a, well, I guess we gotta have something in here kind of a thing. And it almost makes me wonder, did you really? In the first one, yes, you did. That was the plot of the whole thing. In this one, I almost feel like you could have just gotten rid of that thing. In fact, there is one element there is one little twist about the killer that's revealed early on, and that twist never really gets resolved at all or talked about, and there was a post-credit scene where someone was literally saying, wait, so I don't understand. It's like, listen, it all worked out, don't think about that, and that's really kind of what you're left with to do, is just go, well, I guess that thing that was there is now not here, and I'm just gonna, the movie just basically tells you, just don't think about it. Did you have a good time? Did you have a good, that's all that matters, audience. That's all that matters. That's basically what happens towards the end of this with that one, like, big dangling plot thread in there. So, yeah, I do kind of have to point that out a little bit in here, but, yeah, man. The characters are still really good from the first film. The acting's still really good. In fact, they even get more opportunities to show off the really great acting. There's more characters in here who I really enjoy. And it feels like because the serial killer played even less of a role in this, it feels like they realized that wasn't really that big of a thing from the first film. It feels like they realized the dark comedy was the better part of the first film. Because the comedy stuff in here is actually played up way more. There is like flat out slapstick stuff going on at the end. Towards the end of this, there is a long sequence in here that I didn't really think it was funny, but I wasn't like opposed to it. I found it enjoyable enough. But it is a long slapstick routine that is just so out of place for the first film. But in this one, it works.
It works.
It works in this one, because they just kind of realize that's what you're all here for.
That's our niche.
That's what, this is really dark comedy that is just, like, weird in an 80s comedy kind of way. It fits. All right, cool.
It's basically paying homage to like 80s movies, so it makes sense.
So okay, final score time. I'm gonna give this. I'm going back and forth between 7.5 and an 8. We gave the first one an 8.
Yeah, it's like I don't mind giving the sequel the same grade as the first one if it.
I might go. Okay. So if you're giving it an 8, I might go 7.5 on this one. Like I like the first one more, but like a hair. And in all honesty, again, we watched the first one the night before watching this one. That's how you gotta do it, because it really feels like if you do not remember all the little details and all the little jokes from the first one, they're not gonna have the payoff in this.
Yep.
One of the reasons why a lot of the things in here work for me is because they are like directly referencing the thing that we just watched, but they don't ever really stop to just go, hey, we did this in the we're making reference to that thing in the first movie, like very small little things. And that added like a whole new layer
And I feel like that's what a sequel should do.
Yes. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.5, and you're gonna give it an 8. So cool.
Yeah, so like basically even out to like 7.
It evens out to what I wanted to give it between a 7.5 and an 8. Yeah. But yeah, so let's go into a little bit of spoiler time. As I said, there is one little dangling plot thread that they just like go, screw that noise. We don't care about that. Which is that the serial killer this time is hunting down the roommate.
Yes.
And Ryan, I believe his name was. And he's hunting him down, and then you expect that to go on for a while, because what they show you in the trailer is that now all of them are looping. The whole alternate reality thing is not even a part of the trailers. What they show you in the trailers is that, now all of them are being hunted down and killed.
Yeah.
And whenever they get killed, their day restarts. So it's like, how's that going to make this different? That only goes on for a day. Ryan gets killed once, wakes up the next day, and then that is it. Like, they even set up, like, all the little things that he sees on his way walking from his car back to his dorm.
Is that the name of the roommate?
Yeah, it's Ryan.
Right? Oh.
I want to say so.
Okay.
All right. I thought it was.
Oh, yeah, never mind. It's like, there's, like, basically it's, like, 2 killers going on, but, like, Ryan is, like, one of the...
Set everything up for everybody.
All right.
But, yeah, they only really kill him once, and then the next day he wakes up and he gets hunted down by the killer again, and then they attack the killer, they knock him out, they pull the mask off, it's Ryan. And they wake him up, and he basically starts talking about how they have to close the loop. Don't let Ryan do the thing that he's about to do. He's going to screw every single thing up, and everything's going to go horribly wrong. And then when the thing goes off and it blows up, she now wakes up in this alternate reality, and they never return to this whole, are there 2 Ryans? Where did that Ryan come from? What reality is he from? What's the loop that he's talking about? What happened with that thing? That never, ever gets resolved and never comes back up ever again. And when they get sent back, and when at the end of this, when she gets sent back to her own reality, he's just not there.
Well, maybe she said everything right.
That's why, like, during the mid-credits scene, they're all being forced to pick up garbage as their punishment for basically blowing up the science lab. And one of them says, so I still don't understand. What's to understand? When the equation was found correctly, we closed the loop. And it was basically them turning to the audience and going, close the loop means he's not here, and just don't think about this too much. It's resolved. It's done. He's not here anymore. There are not 2 Ryans anymore. But then they set up a sequel. And it is very clear the serial killer is not going to have anything to do with this. At all. Like, I can't imagine him being a part of this.
Like, I don't know if it's like a sequel, but it's like definitely like a wacky ending. Kind of like how you felt the first Lego movie ended.
They gave them an out, is what they did.
Yes.
What they did is, hey man, if this is successful, we got a sequel. If this ain't successful, wop. That's it. Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
Like, we go out on that big joke. Basically, S.H.I.E.L.D. pulls up. Like
the CIA or...
It's DARPA is what it is. And it's this big government organization. And they've taken the device and they go, we've had some problems getting this thing running. And then it's like the whole team is there now. And they're all going to be working for the government on this secret time machine device. And they go, well, we'd like to test it out on a person. You want to send someone into a time loop? I think I have an idea of who to target. And they target Darcy.
No, Danielle.
Danielle, sorry. And they target Danielle, the stuck-up sorority girl lady. It's like, all right, so now, like, she's the one who's going to go through the time loop, and okay, that's fun. Yeah, it is a fun joke to go out on, and it could lead to a sequel, but it does make me wonder, all right, well, what is the sequel going to end up ripping off? Because I'm
sure they'll mention it in the sequel.
Yes, they will, early on. They'll be watching on TV or something. But in the, as I said, in this one, I think one of the reasons why the whole Back to the Future 2 element of it works better is the fact that all the dying that she does in Getting Reborn, in the first one, that happens over and over and over again throughout the course of the entire film. In this one, it really is just that montage that you mentioned. That's really it. After that, she dies one other time. That's it. And that is for the big emotional moment in there. Aside from that, it's just her living in this alternate reality and having to make up her mind about whether or not she wants to go back to her homeworld. And I do think that a large part of how much you enjoy this film depends on how much you enjoy the characters in the first one. Because the main centerpiece of this entire film is that in this reality, her mom is alive. And because her mom is alive,
she wants to stay there
with her mom. Yeah.
But her boyfriend is dating Danielle.
Yes. And she has to kind of decide, like, well, do I kind of live in the past or do I live in the present with this person who I love? Or do I stay in the past with this person that I love? It's a very difficult decision for her, but there are moments where she's going, you know what I'm in the mood for? One of those big cinnamon buns that we had last year. You know, we had it on our birthday. You don't, come on, you were there. You remember. And she has to face the fact that, no, I was not there.
This is not my reality.
Yeah, this is not my beautiful home. Yeah.
This is not my beautiful mom.
How did I get here? So yeah, it actually is a really great personal struggle for her, and if you like this character from the first film, then yeah, you're going to really enjoy watching her go through this. It's going to actually have a big impact on you. So that is really the centerpiece of this film, I feel. But yeah, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Anything else you want to add?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So next weekend we're going to have How to Train Your Dragon 3 coming up. I don't think anything else is going to be willing to go up against that dragon next weekend. So that's probably going to be it. Yeah, I feel bad for Battle Angel Alita. Because pretty much the entire audience that was like, should I go and see that? Ooh, How to Train Your Dragon's coming out. Yeah, sorry, Alita.
Sorry.
Yeah, these things happen.